Hey, good afternoon and welcome to the Daily Drive with Joe. This is the afternoon edition. By now, most of you have probably figured out that the vehicle that I'm driving today is the top of the range Nissan Navara Stealth. Now, this vehicle is the diesel version. As I explained to you this morning, it feels like a tank. It feels heavy, like a tank. I know that there are bigger vehicles than this one, but as you can, I doubt that very few vehicles this size has this type of performance. So I've decided to also start off this time in the new industrial area, because it's quite busy here actually. We had a bit of an issue this morning at the gate to Jetty 3, where they've got the temporary shelter for the homeless guys all rigged up, and you guys saw what happened there. I wasn't allowed to enter there because my permit that I have with me, as well as my press card, did not suffice. It was not sufficient enough, although there's a guy that's in there that's not even a member of anything related to essential services at all. Anyway, so that video, it was removed. Can you believe it? It was removed. Let me just, sorry guys, there, that's better, that's better. Okay, so the video was removed because Sony decided that when I was showing you guys the sound system of this, the sound system itself is very impressive, of this vehicle. The song I was playing was copyrighted. Make a long story short, Sony then removed the video. My designers have in the meantime fixed the problem and re-uploaded the video, so you can now watch that whole debacle that happened this morning. Some other exciting news as we drive through the new industrial area, courtesy of BB Motor Group Tzaneen, who sponsors the drive show, and also a vehicle for every show for me to drive around in. Let me tell you some exciting stuff that you can look forward to on this show for the few days ahead. So I've noticed that a lot of our, I suppose you call them viewers now, where they are actually readers that are just viewing as well. So I'm still getting used to the terminology, but a lot of you have asked a lot of quite complicated questions that I also don't know the answers of. And instead of me going looking for the answers and then giving you like kind of second-hand information, and stuff could get lost in the process, I decided I'm going to try and get some experts on the show to talk to you directly. So what you can look forward to so far, in the meantime, we've got Desiree van der Walt, who's the constituency head for the DA. She's going to be talking to us. I think most likely either this coming Friday or next week Tuesday. Then I've spoken to Anita Campbell, who is a practicing attorney, and she specializes in family law. She's going to come on next week Monday, and she's going to talk to us about the do's and don'ts, the cans and cannots regarding custody of your kids during this time. How do you transport them, how that has changed. She sent me a press release earlier today that there have been amendments to that bill too, or that act. but Anita is the right person to talk to. What I want you guys to do in the meantime, any questions that you have related to this lockdown, corona pandemic, whether it be security issues, your vehicle troubles, whether it be legal matters, if you just need clarity on how you can or cannot operate your business, please do me a favor, send me those questions either in these comments, either via email, joe@bulletin.us.com, or send it to me in a direct message on this page. Just direct message the Far North Bulletin page, and I can get those questions off to the expert salon, and they can prepare. So when we have our interviews with them, they'll be able to give you the correct answers in a way that's palatable and understandable and not jargon, right? So a lot of the times what we as journalists try and do is we try and sift through the legal or medical jargon or industry jargon and try and tone it down so that our readers can understand. And that's often where a lot of the information gets construed and gets lost. So the other thing that I want to note as well is that we've decided that these the interviews with the experts, we're not going to be doing them in the vehicles, because it kind of defeats the object of a drive along, right? You guys want to see the vehicle, you want to see the area, you want to drive around, have a look what's going on, you want to listen to the commentary. And I just feel that if you have these specialists talking to you about very serious topics, you don't want there to be anything that can get in the way. You know, you don't want to talk over each other, you don't want there to be stuff that goes missing. So we're going to film those interviews with the experts stationary. So we'll probably do it at the office, where we've got a nice kind of setup there where we've got a green screen, we've got microphones, all that stuff. We'll do a decent stream from there. Whether it's going to be live or not, we'll still decide. So please, in the meantime, while we're doing these drives, remember too that the vehicles that I drive and that I talk about and that I show you is sponsored by the BB Group in Tzaneen. All of their details and all of the details about the vehicles that I drive every day, you will find in our cover image on this page. So on a Monday I drive Ford. You'll notice that the cover image on our page has changed to Ford, and it will also list the exact Ford that I'm driving at that moment, during that show. We're busy working on a way. There is an online portal, like a form that you can just open and click away, and it goes directly through to the dealer principals. And what they'll do is then they'll get in touch with you. They'll have all your details, what exactly you're inquiring about, and it just speeds up the process, because even though they can't deliver vehicles to you right now, they can do all the paperwork. So when this COVID-19 lockdown is over, and it's going to be over, and when it is eventually over one day, you can just literally go in, all your stuff has already been done, you can walk in there, get your new vehicle, and drive out happy. So we're trying to work on a way to either embed the link for that page, so it's a downloadable thing, and to make it easier for you. So just keep watching our page. There's really exciting stuff happening here. The area that we're driving through now is Hamawasha. So Hamawasha links to Venbeck side, right? And you can go to let's tell it from there. Hamawasha is also a really nice area, because if you live here, you'll find that it feels like you're living on the farm, but you're not living on the farm, and it's quiet, but it's in town. You know what I mean? Excuse me guys, I'm just trying to adjust this thing so that it doesn't shake up and down as much. Okay, how's that? Also, have you guys noticed that there aren't any. Should I go on this dirt road? Yeah. So have you guys noticed that there's no more rattling? Because 'n boer maak 'n plan. So what I did was I took some insulation tape and I maneuvered the bracket, so there's no more rattle, click, click. So I'm taking the Nissan Navara Stealth. It's a very, very beautiful vehicle. I'll show you guys around the car just now. I'm taking it on a bit of a dirt road here. The guys from BB have all done advanced driving courses. I have not. So excuse me if I take it slow. Okay, so this little road that we're driving on, it takes you to the railway station, the train station. And it's the very first time that I've actually driven this area. Okay, so let's take the Navara through its paces. Wow. Yeah, you know, that's another thing that I've noticed. Een ander ding wat ek opgemerk het is baie van die mense wat die video's kyk. Julle gee nie regtig so baie om oor enige van die debates of enigiets. Julle wil net bietjie buitekant sien, man. Net bietjie saamry. Jy weet, en ek dink dit is hoekom daar so baie mense is wat elke week inskakel. So the reason why I don't speak Afrikaans a lot on these videos is because, well, for two reasons. The main reason being that the majority of the people that read our newspaper and that listen to our live streams either are English or can understand English. Okay? And in the beginning, I got a lot of flack from people because they said, why do you not write in Afrikaans anymore? And is the Bulletin now an English newspaper? And, you know, I remember distinctly there was a lady that came in the one day and she was very upset. And she said she's going to cancel. She had a year contract with us at that time. And she was really wanting to cancel the contract because we don't write Afrikaans. And we do. But she wanted us to write more Afrikaans than what we were doing. And so I asked her, ma'am, why do you think we write in English? And, you know, she didn't really have an answer. So I asked her, ma'am, in what language are your ads? And all of her ads were in English. So I asked her, why are your ads in English? And she said, well, because more people can, you reach more people. So there you have it. And the second reason is, want as ek Afrikaans praat julle, dan brei ek. Okay, ek kom nie van die Kaap af nie, ek brei net. My pa het vir my vertel dat my neefie, toe ek klein was, nou my neefie en my niggie, en al my neefies en niggies is baie ouer as ek. Want weet, toe ek gebore is, van my niggies en neefies was toe al 12, 13, 15. So, een van my neefies, wat ek dink hy kyk ook nou die video, Hendrik. Nou, Hendrik het gebrei, en hy was soos my idol gewees toe ek klein was. Toe leer ek myself brei, omdat ek soos Hendrik wou wees. So, ek kom nie van die Kaap af nie, ons het op daai stadium gebly in Durban, en dit is waar die brei vandaan kom. So, daar's baie mense wat altyd vir my vra, kan jy sê rooi ribbok ram? So, ja. Okay, so, I'm going back to English again, guys. I feel very safe in this vehicle. I do. I must tell you, it feels like you're cocooned from the world outside. And it's just because of the sheer size of this vehicle. Look, my personal preferences doesn't really matter, because the one thing that I've noticed now in the last few days is that almost all of the cars that I've driven now, well, all of them, have been so impressive, and they've all got little things that the other one doesn't have. But they all showed me one thing. So I've learned now that pretty soon all the vehicles are all going to be exactly the same. And judging by appearance, they're all starting to look exactly the same too. So this specific vehicle is very, very similar to the one that I drove on Monday, which was the Ford Ranger Wildtrak. Obviously, it shares a lot of the... Whoa, that was lucky! It shares a lot of the features, like they're both four-wheel drive. Both of them have the voice commands. They've got, and then there's a few differences between them that make them unique. And I think it's a little bit unfair to compare the vehicles, because I made the comparison only because I was being facetious with my friend, the sales guy. I was saying that the Ford Everest, if I had to choose between the Mazda CX-5 and the Ford Everest, I would choose the Ford Everest. But that's just because he knows that I know, or he knows that my personal preference is the Ford. But then it was unfair to do that, really, if you think about it, because the Everest and the CX-5, they're not even in the same class. The only comparison that you can have with the Everest would be the Fortuner. Okay, and then similarly too, I think, you don't get the Territory anymore. I forget now what they said. The Territory changed. The Territory changed to something else. I can't remember what now. But the only true comparison that you would have with the Territory, for example, would be the Nissan Patrol. So a few of my friends have also, I think they've taken the piss a bit with me, but they've said, why don't you ask Yuri if you could drive his Patrol? And then I said, well, I would love to drive the Patrol, but I would also love to drive the GTR. And apparently there is a GTR. So who knows? Maybe I can get one of these guys like Rikus or someone who has their advanced driver's permit and take me for a spin in one of those guys. The GTR. That would be an amazing experience. Okay, but guys, handling. You saw me do a bit of a turnaround there. Handling, this vehicle handles the dirt road as if it's a tar road, let me tell you. Amazing. The one thing that I have to add also about this Nissan Navara, not only is it stylish, but you drive as if you're sitting on a couch. It feels like I'm sitting on one of those leather lazy boys, and it's brilliant. I'm really, really impressed. It's very comfortable, and the cab is very big, very spacious. Other than that, like I say, it feels a lot more powerful than the other vehicles, but it's different strokes, huh? Okay, so this area is Hamawasha. Usually we do have quite a bit of movement here as well. We've got Tzaneen blueberries coming up on the left. So, you have trucks up and down here. You've got a lot of people who stay here. There's a lot of people who take shortcuts here, to and from work, depending on where they work. And it's been dead quiet, really. Interesting story about this road. If you, I'm going to pass, there's a section of road here that I'm going to pass now, where there's a massive sinkhole. I'll show you the sinkhole. Now, this sinkhole that we're going to see has been here since 5 years ago, 6 years, 7 years ago. And it's extremely dangerous because it's right near one of the local hangouts, the local pubs. And it has claimed a few vehicles and even a guy on a motorbike before. But if you can see on your right hand side, I'm going to drive on the opposite side of the road so that you can see this. Now, the funny story that I have about this is one of 3 sinkholes that are just not being fixed. Do you see the sinkhole in front of me? Okay. Now, the barrier tape that you see here was not put up by the municipality. It was actually put up by the neighborhood watchers, if I'm not mistaken. But this sinkhole, it's also being used by people in this area as a place to dump all of their rubbish. So the one day I get called out by a friend of mine that actually lives here in this area, and he says to me, listen, there's a guy, he's just dumped his stuff here, please come and have a look. So I drive out here, I climb down that deep sinkhole, get to the bottom, and guess what I find? Not 1, not 2, but 7 boxes of adult toys. Okay, so obviously used vibrators, dildos, those kind of things. And the guy just threw it there in the boxes, and he dumped it all down there along with a whole bunch of other household stuff. So when I climbed down, now I'm photographing this, and I noticed that there's a little envelope. So I look at the envelope, and there's an invoice in it. Okay, there's an invoice for the adult toys from the website that this guy bought it from. So, okay, I open it up, and I see, wow, okay, it's someone that I know in this town. And so I phone him, right, because I actually know him quite well. So I phone him. I said to him, listen, brother, I'm standing at the sinkhole here at Hamawasha, and I'm looking at the dildos and the vibrators that you have dumped here. So he was first like in denial, right? Like, no, that was not me. Never. I would never, ever. Okay, so I said to him, listen, dude, I know that you're married and whatever, and that's fine. But just come and pick it up here, because other people are going to find it and they're going to spread the rumor. Anyway, so he says, no, it must have been the guys from the municipality that once again they dumped the stuff there. How dare they? What? He will send someone to come and have a look. So I wait for him there, right? And he drives all the way there, and then he notices me standing there. So he turns back around again, and then he drives around the corner, and he phones me. He's like, listen, he's just been there, but there's nothing at this sinkhole. What sinkhole exactly am I talking about? So I explained to him exactly where it is. Guys, it's the fastest that I've seen a man stop a vehicle, jump out, run down a hole in the tarmac, all the way down to the bottom, grab a bunch of bags, onto the back of the bucky, in his vehicle, gone. And he's never done it again, right? So, victory, I suppose. So that was just a funny story. The dildos in the hole, in the pun, Okay, you know where we haven't gone yet, guys? We haven't driven through Flora Park. So let's go for a drive through Flora Park. For reasons better not mentioned, to many residents of Tzaneen, Flora Park is a very well-kept secret. Whether that well-kept secret still operates or is still valid during the lockdown remains to be seen. But this is Flora Park, and we're going to drive up here. Oh, can you guys hear the growl? It's got the typical Nissan Navara growl. Okay, so let's go down Flora Park. It's one place we haven't been yet. So Flora Park is also a residential area in Tzaneen. Yeah, well for the most part, I don't know, I see a lot of youngsters on the road. Hi, Benita. Okay. Yeah, there's okay, obviously these youngsters have been sent to the Flora Park supermarket to get you know, food, well, buy groceries, and they're walking up and down. It's very quiet here as well. Look at this view. Can you see this view? Does the view show up on the camera? Because it's really, really lekker. Beautiful view, beautiful. Flora Park is also still expanding. There's a lot of people that have in the past, like, they've bought the stands and they're now building their homes. It's a very quiet neighborhood, I would say. I've always found it to be very quiet, super urban, very close-knit community, and also still really a part of Tzaneen, although it's a little bit removed. It's similar to Pompagolana. Pompagolana is just across the road here. Ek dink ook so, Charles, ek dink ek moet ook dit doen. Maar sê nou maar net ek gaan kry my vetkoek en mins daar. En dis op kamera. Dan gaan daar baie Tzaneeners vir my kwaad wees. Ek stem maar hier, daar is 'n baie goeie plan. You know, ek is so bly. Ek is bly dat ons vir Charles hierso het. Ek is baie bly. Ek moet vir hom nog om verskoning vra. So ek sal dit sommer nou doen terwyl ons almal live is. Ek en hy het op 'n stadium bietjie woorde vir mekaar gehad, dink ek. Charles, so ek is jammer as ek enigiets gesê het wat jou nog meer kwaad gemaak het. Dit was nie my bedoeling nie. Ek het baie keer 'n way om, wel, my prokureur sê vir my ek het baie keer 'n way om emosioneel te raak. So ek sê jammer, dis lekker om jy te hê, Charles. Ek is bly jy is hier so, Mariet, baie dankie dat jy. And then all the other guys and girls that log in every day. I see we had our OK sugar stores people here just now. I think it's probably Sinj. Sinjin is the manager there by Sugar Hill. Runs that like a tight ship, and it's probably because of him and Haneli, who are Lino's right hand, who secured them that international award for the best OK mini market on the globe, in the world, and it's right here in Tzaneen. How amazing is that? Right, so Flora Park, we've just done a nice round trip. I think I'm going to go up this way, this part of Flora Park. Definitely have people that are staying indoors. Fantastic. You know, I get a much better feeling every day so far since the first week. After the first week up to now, every single day has been better and better. And it feels to me like we can beat this, guys. We can. And you know, I spoke to our municipal manager the other day. We were talking about the drones and all the different applications, and I was going to get him to speak on camera about the drones at that time, but because he didn't have all the information initially at that stage either, we decided we'd do it a bit later. So watch Friday's newspaper. It's digital. You'll read all about the drones there. In any case, him and I were talking, and he said to me that the one thing that he's noticed is the irony of this pandemic is that it has united everybody. And it's true. It really is true. It's the great equalizer. And it's really brought every single one of us together. rich, poor, average. Well, all of us are sober nowadays, but it's brought all of us together, and that's good, and it feels good, and I feel it every day when I'm driving, and I'm documenting this thing. And South Africans are weird. Us South Africans are we're very passionate. I think that's the right way to say it. We're very, as a nation, we're so diverse, but we're so similar. So there was a guy who made a poster not so long ago, which I found to be the best way that anybody's ever summed up South Africa. It depicted two groups of people, indigenous or two groups of people, and they were both on the opposite sides of the spectrum, but they shared a lot of similarities. And the first similarity, which was brilliant, was that both groups had a tradition of cooking food in a pot on a fire. I thought that was fantastic. Yo, guys, this vehicle is it's surprising. Did I mention also? I did earlier that you've got the option. I've got it in automatic now because I'm getting used to auto. Excuse me. I've always driven manual, or as the Americans call it, stick shift, right? But actually, you know what? Stick shift is not even right. Stick shift isn't manual. Stick shift is when I remember I drove one of those old glass bakkies once, and the gear lever is mounted here where your indicator light is. I think that's stick shift. If I don't know if there's a difference between that. Maybe you guys can help me, but the way I understand it is that's stick shift, and then we get the the manual gearbox, and then we get the automatic, and then the stick shift is the one next to on the steering mount. In any case, so this vehicle, I've got it in drive at the moment, but you can also switch it into Tiptronic. Well, sort of Tiptronic. Mia, Sylvia, when I started this thing, because I have a certain presenter that does a certain morning show that I cannot stand, and he's got this thing that he says over and over and over, and I said to myself, when I start this thing, be careful, Joe, that you don't always also get into the habit of saying this thing. And now it's wow. Oh my word. Okay, so I'm going to stop saying that. But really, you can't help but say wow when you're driving in the vehicles that I've been fortunate enough to drive in the last few days. So, right, let's do a downtown trippy, and then shall we go back up to my GT3? I promise I will behave. I've got all my necessary permits with me this time. And I would really like to know what's going on there, because I've had people phone me just now and send messages saying that there's a party going on at Jetty 3. So I'd like to see it. Yeah, we're driving past the Tibet College on your left hand side. I'm going to go in here. I'm going to go down here, and then I'll do a circle. Okay, I'll go this taxi rank, and then I'll go down into the Independent State, and then I'll come back up, and we can go GT3, and then do you guys want to check out Lifestyle as well? Benita, you seen? It's the Germans confuse stuff. How can you call it a stick shift automatic? That's just confusing. Right, guys, there's a lot of taxis, but there's not many people, and the taxis are empty, really. Huh. But a lot of the essential services guys here that are still operating. He's the same guy at the hole in the fence. The same guy we drove past the other day that people are buying stuff from him and I don't know what. And he looks super dodge, that dude. He looks super dodge. Yeah, the taxi rank here is relatively quiet. I'm assuming that it's... you know, also there will be more taxis because they can't take their full capacity passengers anymore. So we're going to need, you know, they'll need more taxis to ferry the people around. So that the crossing center taxi rank, that seems pretty quiet. Town itself is beautifully quiet. There's no more queues here. Every single day we've driven here, you guys remember, every day we drive past here and we see scores of people lining up to get into the crossing center and across here by fruit and veg, and today there's no one. So let's see if this is going to remain the case in 2 weeks time when it's time for the grants again. Makaita, what tents are you referring to? Are you talking about, did we drive past? Oh, the tents there in the parking lot. Oh, those tents, sorry, the white ones that we just drove past. Those tents are it's the blood bank. The South African National Blood Service, SANBS. They're out doing blood tests and stuff, or, you know, blood donations, not blood tests, blood donations. So you can still donate blood. Apparently that is considered an essential service during a lockdown period. Look how beautiful Tzaneen is. Just have a look, guys. We live in a beautiful town. Look at that. When it's clean like it is now and there's no people walking around, you should do yourself a favor when the lockdown is over. Come and drive through the center of your town. Just do that. How many people have ever done that? We live in such a beautiful place. Look at this. It's quiet. This is Donnie Ubar Street. Yeah, I should get Louis Shangian on. Correct me or pardon me if I am wrong, but Donnie Ubar is one of the founding fathers of Tzaneen, and actually also I think he was the first lawyer. He was the first lawyer in Tzaneen. And that was 100 years ago this year. It's 100 years ago. Ubar in May is still standing. We celebrated their birthday. Yeah, I must get my facts straight. Their 90th birthday, if I'm correct. That was last year. So Ubar in May still exists. And Sir Donnie Ubar was the forefather. Dirk, daar is geen rommel nie, my ou. Geen. Tzaneen is clean, and I think we all need to thank the municipality for that, because the municipality has been cleaning, and they've been fixing potholes. Well done. You see, guys, we actually have a municipal manager that knows the job, you know, which is why they were trying to get rid of him so many times. Let me just quickly show you guys before I go do the round trip I want to show you the Yubar May building. Look, here's Yubar May's building. And there, that's Yubar May. If I switch off the lights, you'll see the car. I'm going to reverse a bit. This building is they renovated a bit. Look at that. That's like the kind of law practice that you see on TV shows. So two very good friends of mine, Desiree Ernst, she's married to a good friend of mine, Zander, and Alderach. They run, and then also Johan, who is the other partner. There's three of them. So they run their practice out of that very impressive building. So I'm going, wow, okay, Lifestyle looks very, very full. Let's drive up to Lifestyle and see what's going on there quick. I think when I drive up there, I'm going to open this window, I'm going to hang out my elbow out the door, do the gangster lean. So everyone, I'm going to drive super, super slow so everyone can see me driving in this beautiful vehicle. I'm just going to be styling it. And I'm going to be like, yeah, that's right. I've even got my cap on, so I'll just turn it the other way around. And I'll be driving like through there super slow, looking down on everyone. I remember, Craig. So I can literally look down on someone for the first time in my life. In my whole life, I keep looking up to people, right? Because I'm about 1.5 feet short of a meter. And now I get the chance to look down out of my Nissan Navara Stealth. Well, Marius, ons gaan vir julle almal Vrydag sê wie die kaartjies gewen het. Ek het nog baie kaartjies om weg te gee, so ek dink as ek elke dag vir jou sê vir die mense aankondig wie gewen het, dan gaan dit begin neem mekaar raak. So ek dink elke week gaan ons dit op 'n Vrydag doen. So every week on a Friday we're going to announce the ticket giveaways for the movies. Wat sê Rikus? Wat sê? Dankie man. Dankie Rikus, jou papa. And you know, this vehicle does draw the attention. So I feel very sorry for Philip, because Philip has now got the beast for the day. And guys, the beast is called the beast because it's the bare basics, right? It's very primitive. Okay? It doesn't have all the fancy features, nothing. So, poor Philip, I'm driving his Navara today. Philip is from BB Nissan, the BB group in Tzaneen, and it's his vehicle. So, oh, incidentally, Philip he disproved my theory, because he said to me that he drove, him and his wife and himself, they drove to Joburg, and they were stopped and searched by about 3 or 4 roadblocks on the way from Tzaneen to Joburg. Thankfully, he had all the right medical papers. He was driving his wife up and down, and he had all the permits and the papers and everything, so they didn't give him any trouble. So just bear that in mind. You do need the right permits so you don't get into trouble. Also, as you saw in this morning's video, the last thing you really want to do is spend time trying to argue with someone who has got instruction to enforce a law. So to avoid all of that, just rather make sure you have all the stuff you need, all the paperwork, your license, your whatever. I'm going to drive right here. I'm going to turn right, and then I'm going to drive slowly so that people can see me. No, I'm just joking. I'm going to drive slowly so that you can see the queue at Checkers. It's not very long at all. I'll show you. Let me just stop here. And we've got Pierre Cronier there as well. Pierre Cronier is the DA ward councillor for Ward 14. Now you guys won't be able to see. He's there. There's a lot of people standing in line there, waiting to go into Checkers. But the line seems to be moving quickly, and they're keeping the social distancing going, so the line looks longer than what it really is. Right, I'm going to turn in the back parking lot of the Lifestyle Center. Do you guys want to see this vehicle? Let me show it to you, and then we can call it a day. Like I said, I can't drive like Rikus and them. I would like to, but I don't want to take a chance. Okay, I'm going to put it in park. That's the other difference. The Navara still has a one of those traditional handbrakes, right? The other vehicles didn't have that. That's one of the biggest differences. Right, so there is your display on the driver's side. There's the clamp that I've just, you see there, I butchered it. A boer maak 'n plan. This is what the Nissan Navara Stealth looks like on the inside. It looks very spaceship. You know, you got your digital and your analog. But for those of you who didn't see this morning, have a look in this mirror. This is the rear view mirror. Look what happens when I switch it into reverse. And you've got this is in the rear view mirror. Look, that's the rear view mirror. Switch it into reverse, and you've got your normal rear facing camera there, but you can see your vehicle from the top. Well, from the top. So it's because you've got 1, 2 and 3 and 4 cameras around the vehicle, and they create the surroundings around you. So when you drive, look at that. It actually also does move. Okay, so that was quite a nifty, quite a handy feature. Let's look at the outside of the car, and then I'm going to bid you guys a good evening. Right, okay, so you didn't see this, right? Yeah. That's the center console. You see, you can switch it from drive into here, where you've got the, you can click it up and down like a Tiptronic. It's got some nice storage space everywhere, as you would expect. And then it's got the usual, the cruise control. Everything's operated from the steering wheel. Right, look at this. And this is standard, eh? It comes out like this. It's not like customized or anything. This is what the vehicle comes with. These very impressive, like matte black kind of rims. It's also quite quiet, eh? Yeah, so that's the Nissan Navara Stealth. How cool are these orange trimmings? And then here, these are the cameras at the bottom here. that gives you that view like you're looking down on your vehicle from a what do you call it, from a drone. Okay, so what's extra on this one, and it doesn't come standard, you can order it extra. Now this canopy is really cool. So you have these canopies here, and on the inside, what's great about it is you see those little handle key thingies. Do you guys want to really drive to JT3 now? I can. I mean, the show's been an hour already. Aren't you guys bored? And then over there, you can actually adjust them and move them up and down so that you can tie stuff down on them, you see. Okay, if you guys really want to, I'll go to JT3 quick and end the show there. Or I could start there tomorrow morning. Let me just put this Magodiki thingy that with my tape. Alright, I'll tell you what, those of you who want to stick around, you're welcome to stick around. Let me go make a turn by GT3. Otherwise, if you want me to, I can start there tomorrow morning. I don't think that there is a party going on there, to be honest. I think what most people don't know is that there's a lot of vehicles there this time of day from the department, the disaster management department of the Mopani district municipality, and also from the health department, because guess what, they're feeding the people this time of day. So I presume, because look, Mark Stevens, hey, here's a guy having a nice little pipiki. Should I hoot at him? Can't pee here, brother. Anyway, so Mark's watching the show now. In the beginning, he also didn't know, and now that he knows what's going on, he hasn't really suspected that there was a party there. So I don't think I'm going to drive up there now, guys. To tell you the honest truth, it's going to be a waste of time. I'll start tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock. I'm going to start the show there. And then I'll present all the right paperwork. Okay, all the extra paperwork. I'll present it to our friend there at the gate. And then we can see what happens. But I need to get Philip's vehicle back to him now. It's been a bit over an hour. So guys, thank you very, very much. Thanks for joining me. Sorry that we didn't end it at JT3, but I'll start it there tomorrow morning. Remember, those of you who didn't see this morning's video, it was removed because of copyright infringements. So Sony, removed it. My designers have fixed it. It's back up. It's below. Well, yeah, it'll be below this video now. Head over to YouTube if you want to see our other videos there. We've got videos there from 2012. There's a video there showing the Tzaneen Dam overflowing. Okay, and that's a site we haven't seen in a very long time. Head over to YouTube, go and like us at Far North Bulletin. Like and subscribe. You'll get all the notifications there that you miss on Facebook. Thanks, guys. See you tomorrow morning. Ja, jy maak 'n goeie punt daar, Rikus. Okay, thank you guys. Also, for those who are bored like Suzette, and those who really do like photography, I'm also a photographer. Both Rilof and I are both award-winning photographers, and we post a lot of our images on Instagram. Head over there at Bulletin TZN and go have a squiz there. Other than that, guys, I bid you a good evening. Be safe, be blessed. See you tomorrow morning. Ciao.